Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. Welcome. All right. Welcome everybody. Happy Saturday. Welcome, welcome. I'm just doing some setting real quick. How do I do this? Pin automatically. Okay. That's done. All right, so as you can see, we're doing 4 topics today. First, we're going to talk about this weird trend, this video trend on Chinese social media or Chinese video platforms. And then we're going to cover the second topic, which is on the kind of the follow-up to a video that we did about Chinese communist Karens in Paris, where they basically wouldn't go into a hotel and stay there for the night because they didn't have the Chinese flag. There's a bit of new information on that. And then we're going to talk about how the New York Times essentially denied organ harvesting happening in China. Pretty crazy stuff, and I'll talk about that. And then last but not least, we're going to have sort of, I guess you would call it an explanation or answering some of the comments from my video on the video game called Myth Wukong. People are saying it's too political to bring, discussions about a video game with politics. So I kind of want to address that a little bit. But let's go into our first topic, because this one's hilarious. And I can't wait to share it with you guys. So let me just show you the video first, okay? So this is what a exquisite boy does when he goes into a hotel.
精致男孩在酒店的 crush 究竟都做了啥？极帅们今天来住5星级酒店了，看看这酒店的环境，这江景真的绝子啊！1. 先把行李箱收起来。2. 房间外挂上请勿打扰。3. 一次性消毒湿巾，给桌椅消毒。4. 关闭所有灯光，检查摄像头，避免当上大主播。5. 换上一次性4件套。6. 放上除螨仪除螨。7. 放上加湿器。 加湿。8. 自带便携烧水器和茶具。9. 泡上一壶特效茶，养精蓄锐。10. 便携花瓶，插上鲜花增添氛围。11. 时辰未到，拿出激光键盘，浅工作一会吧。12. 来到卫生间，马桶座盖可得好好擦擦。13. 套上马桶垫。14. 自带一次性浴巾。15. 提前先洗个澡吧。16. 换上浴袍一整个舒服住了。17. 拿出护肤包。18. 洗面奶清洁面部。极帅们记得定时修剪鼻毛。19. 刮干净胡茬，避免刺挠。20. 涂上水乳套装，保持皮肤状态。21. 拿出牙线清理下小零食。22. 爆珠牙刷，浅刷个牙吧。
Okay, so basically, this whole idea is that he has all these steps. Really extra steps for him to do something, okay? So this is him in the hotel. He's waiting apparently for his crush.
13. 便携漱口水，清新口气，你我更亲近。24. 喷上心机小香水。25. 套上一次性浴缸套。26. 丢入泡澡球，一会美美的泡个澡。
Wait, what? Why is why is the bathtub covered in a plastic? Oh, it's a single-use bathtub cover. Okay, I didn't know these things existed.
17. 撒上玫瑰花瓣，小香槟安排上。28. 南大体验卡，今天先到这了，拜拜。
Okay, so that's how an exquisite boy does hotel stays. Okay, so very extra, very pointless. I don't know why he does this. This is another one. This is taking the high-speed railroad in China.
高铁商务座要分几步？极帅们今天来坐高铁商务座了。1. 擦干净玻璃，方便一会看风景。2. 消毒喷雾给包厢消。 消毒3，消毒湿巾擦干净座椅扶手，小桌板也别忘擦擦。4，便携吸尘器，暴风吸入小零食。5，浅坐一下吧。6，关上包厢门开始出装。7，贴上垃圾袋自产自销。8，换上一次性拖鞋，一整个舒服住了。9，放上加湿器加湿。10，空气净化器去车里异味。11，给手机充上电。12，
If this guy had an appointment at 9 a.m., he'd get up at 1 a.m. That's pretty funny.
便携花瓶 YYDS， 极帅去哪都得带着。13，极帅们也有专属牌子了。14，放上手机支架，浅看一会剧吧。15，拿出便携茶具，调杯隐藏饮品喝喝吧。倒入风油精9米。一整个精神抖擞了。16，核心出装激光键盘，简单规划一下工作吧。17，干饭时间拿出自带香菜面。
That keyboard was pretty cool. It's like a laser projection.
778 18，撒入一把自带香菜，家人们谁懂啊？好吃到剁 GOGO， 我直接暴风吸入了。19，到卫生间洗漱一下吧，拿出牙线去掉残渣。20，爆珠牙刷。
I don't get it. Like, why bother traveling? Just go stay at home. Like.
刷个牙吧。21，极帅们来感觉了，铺上一次性马桶垫。22，差点忘了，检查一下有没有摄像头。OK， 安全。23，滴上一滴香。24，压缩毛巾洗个脸吧。25，拿出迷你桌球，一整个解压到了。26，9米 VR 玩游戏。
He brought VR with him.
27，喷上护眼喷雾，缓解眼睛干涩。28，一整个困住了，浅睡一会吧。29，将座椅调到躺平姿态。30，调个定时闹钟，准时起床。31，戴上蒸汽眼罩。32，极帅们晚到站了，到站了。今天也是在逃王子的一天。
Wait, he did all that and he arrived. That's pretty funny. Oh my god. Okay, so that's the exquisite boy. Now I'll show you what the girls do. The girls do some extra stuff. Let's see here if we have one. Oh yeah, this is pretty ridiculous. Show you this. So this is now the exquisite girls.
到底做了啥？
What is this? So all these scrolling texts here, they're talking about like really funny stuff. One of them says, I'm a historian, this is history in the making. And then some other people were saying that she's an alchemist. And there's people saying that she's making a toilet cake. Why is she using her hand? Oh my god. Oh no, the color. It literally takes her 20 years to go to the bathroom. Looks like cappuccino. Oh no, what happened? I think. Okay, let me go back. One of the scrolling caption was like, "This is how you eat Western food: 3-course meal." How to basic China version? That's correct. What the heck is going on?
已经开始了，开始赛局，承让承让。我闪你的闪来闪，月光洒洒向谁看？
Oh my god, there's more. There's more fizziness. Uh, point of view, you're about to pee and someone's in the bathroom. Tanya says maybe they're selling all the gadgets they're using and that would explain it. Yeah, I think this is probably some level of advertisement for those gadgets. My God. Oh man, that was an experience for sure. So this is how exquisite girls do it when they're playing mahjong. It's okay, I don't understand it either.
戴上清洁手套，拿出所有的麻将，便携消毒喷雾消毒，手机也拿过来，便携消毒湿巾擦拭麻将，拿棉签细细擦一下，每一个都不能忽视。擦好的麻将先刷卡，保证赢钱到手软。再用消毒喷雾给座椅消毒。夏天了，穿得少又容易出汗，一定要注意清洁泥清理桌边，拿出储物格，清理小零食，才能用得安心。拿友们的手也必须一起清洗，不能搞脏刚擦的麻将。放东西也要注意卫生，桌面统统清理一下，便携垃圾袋贴上。小小一个还挺能装的，装上挂钩，挂上我的包包，拿出我的便携花瓶，插上小花花，打麻将心情都变好了。便携加湿器加。
They're like, this isn't living, this is their job. Their job is to clean mahjong tables.
试一下，太干了，拿出我的小
Hey everybody, welcome.
给大家的搓麻加一点 BGM， 搓麻容易上火，排好5袋的香，麻友们平心静气一下，给麻友。
Keeps telling me to log in, but I've already logged in. Are they making fun of the Japanese? No, I think it's like a weird
祝大家
trend.
都东方输液，自己留一瓶营养快线，外面杯子肯定是不能用的。铁观音、铁地饮，再给麻友们弹上一首，准备开始战斗。开始沉浸式搓麻，手气不太好，去上个厕所，给厕所滴上一点香香。便携按压器，美甲人士友好。拿出便携洗手药丸洗手，邀请麻友换个座位，潮门的位置一定不会输。
I'm pretty sure it's been like an hour and they haven't started playing yet. Also, why the extra step? Just wash your hands. I think somebody said that in the chat. They're like, just wash your hands. Right? Yeah, Sonosuke says, just wash your hands afterwards. Joan Edwin says Fangyi, which means pandemic prevention. I don't know, man. It's like, she lives everywhere she goes. Exactly, yeah. All right, so this is them playing mahjong. And then, what else is there? Let's go watch. Oh yeah, okay. So they do some weird stuff when they go swimming. So this is the girl going swimming.
游泳有精致女生游泳有多麻烦？
She does a water quality test. What's going on here? Oh my God. She's like rubbing all sorts of chemicals on her. She literally just swam for like 2 seconds, then she got out and went into the shower. Gotta stay hydrated in the water. The most reasonable thing yet is the pH test. Nice. Okay. That is how to swim. Is there another one that swims? I swear there's another one that is like swimming. Oh yeah, this is another girl swimming. This one's a little bit different, I think. I can't remember. I didn't watch
游
this.
泳到底要几步？一，精致女孩游泳到底要几步？一，消毒衣柜；二，组装拖鞋；三，取下首饰。
Are those like duck gloves? What are these? What are those? Look at this. This is pretty funny. Pull out a lifesaver in a pool that's like maybe a foot deep. Well, maybe more than a foot, maybe like 3 foot. Like some sort of a marketing ploy. There's no way, because she's like got anti-chlorine shampoo, anti-chlorine body wash. Wait. What if she gets in the car, like her next video is about how after swimming she gets into the car and she has to do all those steps over again. That's pretty crazy. All right, let's watch another one. This is how a boy goes to a public toilet. Exquisite boy goes to a public toilet.
精致男孩如何上公厕？墙上的灰必须先打扫好脏，多亏带了工具箱，穿好防护服，口罩
He has a whole hazmat
对
suit.
上喷壶，来一个全面的消毒。洗地机还是很方便。
Vacuum?
太热了，极帅们，出门在外仪式感是自己给的。整理小桌板。夏天上厕所怎么能少掉风扇？电蚊
Oh my god, wait, the fan will literally blow the smell back to you.
防止咬定。再来上一杯香薰蜡烛，配上纯音乐。
这儿呢，谢谢。啊，
Wait, he just got delivery? What the heck is that? Oh my god. That was weird. This is exquisite girl going to a summer spa.
精致女孩夏日泡丝。
Mystique says that toilet seat cover was kind of dope. That's the only thing I really wanted is those toilet seat covers. Because like here, some of the stalls, they have these like paper ones. Those are just terrible. They're like hard, really doesn't do anything. The other cover looks pretty cool. Stupid Billy keeps telling me to log in, even though I've already logged in. Okay, so this is supposed to be the grand compilation of the stuff. So let's see what this is about.
出差的一天都在做的。
It's kind of boring. Okay, this is on a plane. She literally brought her entire makeup set on here. Is this all like makeup? That's kind of boring. Not watching that then. This is about dating, which probably is just them getting ready. Okay, this honestly, I saw the thumbnail for this. I haven't watched it, but this looks crazy. So this is for camping outside.
精致女孩假期露营到底有多爽？
Most of the stuff so far feels unbelievably unnecessary. Yeah, that's the point, I think. My God, that's crazy.
精致女孩假期露营到底有多爽？
So my only I guess you would call it concern with this is what is the purpose of this? Is it just for selling products or is there some reflection? So here's an article about this actually. I'll translate it to English and I can share it with you. So obviously this is an opinion piece. But basically it's talking about how a series of videos of exquisite girls went viral on the internet, how many girls have been harmed by this abnormal sense of ritual. Now, as you guys mentioned, right, this is some sort of a ritual thing. It's like nobody actually does this when they go out to camp or when they go to the toilet. They're not making bathroom cakes. But the idea here is that, where is it? Yeah, so what they show in the video seems to be an enviable high-quality life, meticulous makeup, carefully decorated space, and luxurious living habits. However, behind these glamorous appearances, the aesthetic tastes of Chinese women have become distorted. So how do these videos poison women's lifestyle and values through exquisite packaging? So the idea here is that the Chinese government doesn't want this type of things to last. And I'll tell you the reason is, right? You have, these videos are essentially promoting, for the better or worse, is this concept of luxury lifestyle, or the idea that you have enough time, enough resources to buy these things, to enjoy these things, to take time to do things, right? Now, in a country right now, in China, that's facing a lot of economic problems, and then you have this trend that's promoting almost like a Western alternative lifestyle, even though that's really like nobody in the West does this stuff, right? There's like a pure imaginary problem that they have, hence why you have articles like these that are now condemning this trend. So open any of the videos at random, you'll see a girl sitting on a high-speed train seat. She smiled, took out a small vase from her bag, carefully put a rose in it. Passenger next to her looked at her in surprise, couldn't help asking, did you bring a garden on the bus? So these ideas that like people can live, comfortably, quite luxurious in a sense, at least that, we don't know much about the quality of these products, but at least it seems like they're spending a premium on getting that, is pretty funny. But I don't see this trend lasting, because this is essentially what the CCP doesn't want to see, right? People are promoting this type of style. And but it could also go the other way, where they weaponize these type of videos to sort of project this image that Chinese people are living pretty well, So it depends. But I have one more here to show you, which I think is funny. This is this guy goes to an internet cafe in China, and this is how he spends his time playing video games.
网吧冲浪。今日南海网吧冲浪的一天，极帅们这包间环境绝子呀！先用消毒喷雾给桌椅消毒，换上拖鞋解放双脚。网吧里全是抽烟的，太下头了。拿出一次性消毒湿巾，把座椅仔细擦一遍，扶手也不能忘记。键盘、鼠标每天都这么多人盘，可要好好擦擦。戴上耳机套，便携吸尘器，暴风吸入缝隙里藏的小零食。椅子放上腰垫，浅坐一下吧。拿出清洁
He hasn't even started playing video games yet.
清洁剂，擦干净屏幕，以免影响操作。键盘清理
No gamer is this
把键
clean.
帽通通拔出来，这键盘脏的让人叮寒。换成刷头。
Okay, that is pretty nasty, though. If you look at this is pretty nasty. Question, is it possible for the Chinese government to fix all the problems they have in a realistic sense? I don't think so. There's too many things, fundamental problems that they can't fix.
头把污垢扫出，狠狠地解压到了，把键帽装回去，换上鼠标垫，塑料花瓶倒入水，插上鲜花。玩游戏要保持良好心态，打开电脑，加湿器 YMIDS， 拿出便携茶具，装上即热开水器，泡茶必须得用矿泉水，好喝到跺脚脚。带上懒人夹子，吃零食不能脏手。戴上耳机开始冲浪，终于赢了一把，拿出自带香菜面778，去找网管加开水，撒入一把自带的香菜。家人们谁懂啊？我直接暴风吸入了。去洗手间洗漱了，拿出护肤包、便携牙刷盒，刷个牙。爱干净的男生真的很心动到了，口腔喷雾给嘴巴。
Okay, but like who actually, if you go to an internet cafe to play video games, who actually does this? Brush teeth? Wash your face? Take a hygienic approach? I don't think so. This
去
is
趣
pretty
味，想要
unrealistic.
当精致猪男孩的极帅们，一定要注意护肤。你永远不知道你的队友在干嘛。取下面膜，涂上乳液，智能痘痘贴，贴上，很快就消
He's got a
了。
pimple
一整
patch?
个困住了极帅们，浅睡一会吧。咱就是说，充气颈枕真是绝子啊！调个定时闹钟，准时起床下机，喷上护眼喷雾，缓解眼睛干涩。戴上蒸汽眼罩，缓解疲劳。极帅们晚安，今天也是在逃王子的一天呢。
Okay, all right. I think we're done with this ridiculous stuff. But you get the idea, right? It's just very extra. And this honestly, like, you know, some of the stuff seems to make a lot of sense. Like single-use sanitary wipes. You got like some misty things. You know, some of the gadgets look pretty cool. So I don't mind that. I don't. But I think it's pretty ridiculous because what they're doing is portraying this style as if, you know, this is what people are supposed to do. Asian Patty says, I love how he did more cleaning than the internet cafe generally does. Yeah, probably. LED pimple patch, 50 Shades of Deception. Pretty funny. Okay, so let's go on to our next topic. This one here, we did a video on this. Actually, here, I'll play the YouTube Shorts for those of you who haven't seen it yet, and so you can catch up. And then we'll talk about it.
This Chinese hotel?
It's a Taiwanese.
Sorry, I don't want to. This Chinese hotel?
It's a Taiwanese.
Sorry, I don't want to.
我好像发现一个严重的问题，他这没有挂我们中国的国旗。
本身这一串上面是有的，是存在的。总经理看到了，叫那个剪掉。你就是朝着我有我都要看一到底。
This is Douyin travel blogger Drill Sergeant Zhang. So he won't stay at the hotel anymore because they didn't have the flag up? What is this, Chinese communist Karens at work? This took place at the Evergreen Laurel Hotel in Paris, which is a Taiwanese hotel chain. He went back the next day to speak with the manager, who still insisted they won't follow with his request to put up the decoration, aka the flag.
中文嘛。
怎么可能呢？这么多人，他故意的还是忘记了？这个有点问题。
This Chinese hotel?
It's a Taiwanese. It's a Taiwanese.
Taiwan?
Taiwan Hotel。
Yeah, it's a Taiwanese.
台湾不是中国吗？那他的
This is like the real time of Chinese people finding out about the CCP's international image in the gutters. Okay, so basically this guy, he's like a travel blogger. He went to Paris to stay at this hotel. It's owned by it's a Taiwanese hotel chain. They cut down the Chinese flag because, you know, it's their hotel. They get to do whatever they want. Taiwanese owners, maybe they don't like the CCP, so they don't hang up the Chinese flag, whatever, right? Just how, you know, you confiscate the Taiwan flags and merchandise at the Olympics, they decide what they want to do. Now, so he escalated into a whole blown, like overblown situation about nationalism. And it turns out, as we learned today, that, where is it? So basically, it turns out he's been sponsored by the French-Chinese friendship associations or Chinese associations, which basically are these overseas CCP-controlled organizations under the guise of, you know, finding people from, let's say, the same area in China. They're United Front operations. So these organizations essentially helped him, right? So he, if you can read the little bit of the French in the back, is Franco-Chinois, which means French-Chinese. And their point is to facilitate these pro-China events. So they do a lot of these local events and stuff for the Chinese diaspora. But they're usually controlled by the embassy or the Chinese United Front organizations.
走啦。
So this is the guy in the video, this chubby guy.
还会去。先走。
So he says they're gonna go to a meeting. Okay, let's see. No, there's.
去。去哪儿啊？现在所有的法国华侨华人，各个商会会长全部等着你们。干嘛呀？
So basically, they're saying that all of these different Chamber of Commerce, United Front organizations, their leaders are waiting to have a meeting with them.
等会儿去了就知道。
确实被打了。
他们已经到齐了，是不是？才过来这个，都挂好了。
So you know, you got the Chinese flags.
全是会长都在楼下等着。
So all these leaders, right? You see the Chinese flags, they're pro-Chinese Communist Party, and they have huge presence in the Chinese community. And yeah, so what this basically tells us is his whole act of you know, patriotism or nationalism, whatever, in that hotel is all closely linked to the local United Front operations. Okay, so like this, all red, this is like bloody redness, just shows you that this is a communist organization, right? And so basically, under the direction of the Chinese embassy, I'm just going to skip ahead because it's all in Chinese. They're now talking about this whole drama, saying how it's like the whole thing with the hotel, saying that it's hurt the feelings of the Chinese people. And this is really the core sort of motive of these overseas organizations. And they're really just to carry on the message or whatever the propaganda or direction of Beijing overseas to those individual countries, in this case, France. Okay, so that's the video. And so it basically shows that he's now being, like the Chinese government has been involved in the situation through the overseas groups. And he even published this, so this is the travel vlogger. He even published the reason why he is in Paris. So according to him, it is why he was in there. He says from 2024, August 11th to 15th, Drill Sergeant Zhang's Interesting Life, which is his travel blog on Douyin, captured those evergreen Laurel Hotel in exchange videos, and everything has been correct and accurate, and it is in accordance to publishing regulations. It is protecting the country's united, I guess, works, and after careful consideration, it is capable of being published to the outside. From France, China United as One, I guess, Progressive Association? So why would a blogger in China need the approval notice of a United Front organization in Paris to publish those videos? It means whatever content he was talking about fits the regulation and the needs of the party in its overseas control. So that's why he was allowed to publish those things. Okay, so there's that. And this was the original video, right? So I showed you that one. I think there's more here. Wait, no, that's not it. This one? No, these are all the same. Okay, so he's been in Paris and he basically went around, he did more videos like this one here, where he, so all of these videos are not shown to like us, right? They're shown to the Chinese people back home. And his role is pretty simple. He basically films these videos. So in this one, he saw this painting. It depicts a Chinese person and a European person. And in the video, he says that why are they painting the European person to be taller than the Chinese person? Oh, that must mean that they want to, signify that the Europeans are better than us, right? So that's the message that he's trying to convey in this.
下面还有一群中国的平民，然后拖着他的孩子往上走，但是他们还是都没有这个欧洲人高。这幅画感觉好像有点歧视的味道。
Yeah, he's saying there's discrimination in this photo or drawing.
我感觉。
有没有粉丝兄弟知道这幅画是谁画的？
不晓得我是不是不懂欣赏这个艺术。刚刚那一幅画，反正我也。
So, like, honestly, this is just, at this point, he's trying to gain viewerships back in China for this. And it's honestly pretty funny because, Europeans tend to be taller than Chinese people, right? Back in the days, especially, like, if, you're not as well-fed, you don't have a lot of nutrition, good meals growing up, you're probably not as tall. Like, this is not some racial or discriminatory stuff. Like, Europeans are taller than Asians. Like, that's just a fact. Right? Wheezy Squeezy Box says most Europeans are taller than Asians. Like, that's not a discriminatory statement, right? It's pretty funny. So anyways, this guy, there's a little update on him. And at the end of the day, it's all just CCP propaganda, okay? All right, so let's talk about our next topic. Now, the New York Times has, so this is that. The New York Times has, let me find the article first. Where is it? So the New York Times has published an article, and in the article, here, actually I'll pull up the article so it's better to know what we're talking about. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, so the New York Times has published an article on Falun Gong. And there's one particular part. Now, I don't know what your opinions are on Falun Gong, but I think this is the part that really deserves to be talked about because this is essentially repeating the CCP's propaganda at this point, okay? So here it says, Falun Gong has also said that its followers were the targets of a mass program by the Chinese government to harvest their organs while they were in prison. Chinese officials have acknowledged that organs of executed prisoners were a primary source for transplant surgeries in Chinese hospitals, but denied the allegations of harvesting organs from Falun Gong practitioners or any other detainees. Okay, so this is the key here. They have denied not just Falun Gong practitioners or any other detainees. And the New York Times cites Chinese Communist Party officials as some sort of a credible source, okay? And then the New York Times goes on to cite a human rights scholar named Nicholas Beckelin, a senior fellow at Yale Law School's Paul Tsai China Center, who has documented the use of prisoners' organs and other leading experts on human rights in China. So, other leading human rights experts in China say that there is no evidence of a systematic program to execute Falun Gong practitioners for their organs. Some practitioners, like other Chinese prisoners, may have had their organs removed if they were executed or died in prison. And then it goes on to repeat more of the CCP's propaganda. It says China banned the practice of harvesting organs from executed prisoners in 2015. This is simply not true. In 2015, what China did do is that they started a so-called state organ donation system, which means where the heck were they getting tens of thousands of transplant surgeries done before 2015 every single year? Okay, so I don't know why the New York Times has suddenly decided, like, they have no credibility left. Because here, look what happened. This was written by David Matus, who is, let's see here. Can't find it. This one? No. Where is it? Is it this? Am I blind? I can't find it. Merging. Oh yeah, right here. Okay. So back in where is it? So the New York Times once actually had a reporter named Didi Kirsten Tatlow, who she focuses her writing on exposing the organ transplant abuse in China. But in November of 2015, so this is from Didi Kirsten Tatlow's notes, the newspaper, this is New York Times, made a hash of the edit of my story of November 16, 2015, substantially changing its sense through an unfortunate cut at the end, and a senior colleague in Beijing attempted to pin the blame on me. The subsequent correction, which was not delayed due to the needing to check anything as it says, but simply due to inattention or overwork on the part of editors, shows that there were at least 2 editing errors only, not reporting errors. More broadly, I conducted several conversations in person by email with senior editors, but essentially my request to continue this line of investigation, for which I need more time, were ignored. And here it says, She continued, editors appear to believe the organ donation issue in China has been solved by the state's admission that they had used prisoners' organs and its promise of December 14th that they were no longer doing so. I was told that there was nothing new to the story. Another editor commented, when I tried to broaden the investigation from death row prisoners to prisoners of conscience, based on my conversation with Dr. Chen and Dr. Tong described above, the people who believed that prisoners of conscience organs were being used were on the outer fringes of advocacy. So the editors in New York Times believes that systematic forced organ harvesting was on the outer fringe of advocacy. Okay, when we literally have this guy here, where is it? When we literally have somebody who survived forced organ harvesting, and they have countless of people basically telling everybody that, you know, they're victims or their families were victims of forced organ harvesting. You have Uyghurs in concentration camps. And then you have the New York Times basically saying that, oh, we're just going to repeat Chinese Communist Party propaganda and say forced organ harvesting doesn't exist. Like, what the heck? It's pretty dumb, right? I just find it ridiculous that they're doing this. And so, again, another point to mention is so this story, right, the person that I basically also talked about this, when he left China, he escaped China back in 2015. He initially didn't know that he was a victim of organ harvesting until he came to the United States in 2020 and then learned, you know, that part of his kidneys, not kidney, part of his liver was taken. And I think that's just ridiculous. And you also have to consider the fact that not only did they deny that there's the persecution of Falun Gong, they denied the idea of organ harvesting, which, again, you know, at least as early as 2006, there's been enough credible evidence to suggest that it exists. And the New York Times, what they're basically doing is that so basically since 2020, New York Times has been receiving a lot of money from the Chinese newspapers like China Daily. And they claim that in, I think this is 2020, August of 2020, they decided to end the partnership with China Daily as so-called a part of a society-wide reckoning about the cozy relationship between the Chinese government and American institutions. So until 2020, the New York Times was receiving a lot of advertisement money from the Chinese newspaper, which is a state media, of course, and then, you know, consistently repeating the Chinese Communist Party propaganda. I really don't think the paper should be doing that, but they continue to do this, so I really don't know why they're doing it. But this one really shocked me because, wow, like, I can't believe they even denied organ harvesting, which is basically well known now at this point. Met the to love long time. I just don't see the point. This is just a worse version of his pre-recorded videos. He doesn't engage in chat or answer questions. Just pointing out he's not good at this format. I do answer questions. I'm looking at chat too, but I also have stuff I have to get through. Okay, so let's talk about our last topic, which is on this game. It's called Black Myth Wukong. I thought this was pretty funny. This is a threat from the discussion section. It says, sorry, we won't be buying. As you've seen, IGN, the most respectable news outlet, has mentioned that this game lacks diversity. This is a deal breaker for me. I'm a big diversity fan, and any game that fails to deliver on that is a bad game in my book, even if it has its monk. Therefore, I'm unfortunately announcing I won't be buying this game and gonna make my wife's boyfriend buy it for me instead. Thank you for understanding. So people have been trolling this game simply because the game is like, it's a Chinese developer. And there's a lot of discussions that just start to stir into politics. Now, I was reading some of the comments in the video I posted about this. Where is it? Let me click on that, show you here. So a lot of you have been saying how game's a game and there's no politics involved, or politics shouldn't be involved in this game. And like, I get what you're talking about, right? If you just want to play the game and you don't want to like deal with the politics. But the problem is in China, everything's political. And I think that's the point I want to kind of address, right? Because the Chinese propagandists, they say that, oh, nothing's related to politics. Everything has to do with just whatever you're talking about. This case, the games, right? But if you really think about it, there's been a lot of cases in China where games are involved in politics. There's one example which I can show you. Let me pull it up. So this is in the game called League of Legends. And in one year's like Chinese New Year skin celebration, they had these like bombs-looking things. It used to be a bun, and then for the Chinese release, they changed it into a dumpling. Any guess as to why? It's related to Xi Jinping. Okay, so basically, there's a meme where people call Xi Jinping Bao Buns because he used to dine at this bun shop in Beijing, and so yeah, for the Chinese release, they literally changed this from a bao bun to a dumpling just to avoid criticizing Xi Jinping. That's political. So everything in China has to do with politics. There's an example as early as 2006, which again has to do with video games. They couldn't have, so there was I think it was World of Warcraft. One of the classes called the Undead, they didn't have a jaw. And for the Chinese release, they had to add a jaw in. Because apparently, for some reason, the internet, like the censors for the video games require that. And they also couldn't have the class called Rogue. They changed it to Thief. Okay, there's more examples. So basically in China, if you look for any like online video games in China, when you go to the chat like section, anything that you type in has an automatic filter. So if you say that video games are not related to politics, well, in China, it is part of politics. So for those people that are just like wanting to play these games, it's fine. But I want just you guys to understand the reason why this is being tied to politics. And there are so many people who are using the platform of Steam to try to express their political desires is because the CCP makes it, they like twist the logic, right? They're saying that if you link it to politics in any ways, you're basically threatening the integrity of this thing, right? So let's say if Black Myth Wukong has something to do with politics, then you're essentially threatening the quality of this game or this integrity of the game, right? A game should be game. But in reality, it's the environment that's shaped this to stop. It has stopped a lot of things from happening, which is surprising because, you have games like Genshin Impact and now Black Myth Wukong. It's so little that the amount of quality stuff that comes out of China, whether it be like movies or TV shows or games or even pop culture, there's so little of it because of political issues, right? That anytime something does come out, people treat it like this treasure. And that's what's happening with Black Myth Wukong. You mean the skeleton censorship in WoW? It happened in Dota as well. Depiction of death is censored. Yeah. Meb the 12 Love Long Time says, I love how I said I like his content, but he's bad at this format and everyone loses their, like, I'm a hater or trolling. Yeah, like, I mean, you're pointing out something that doesn't happen. I'm reading chat, but I'm also talking about other stuff. So if you don't like it, then just, watch something else. And also China has this thing, whenever they release a lot of the IPs, they have to go through this regulation process where it could take a few years. And for me, the entire idea of creativity in the gaming industry or any other industry is practically rendered to zero when you have to deal with a lot of these procedural processes, which doesn't happen in other countries. So say, for example, there's a new Call of Duty game every year. But for China to do the same, it's impossible because they have to get the approval of the Cyber Administration first before they can even work on this title. Duke Chicken says, is there games blacklisted to the countries they're from? Game-wise, not really, but movies, definitely. How did the CCP first come into power? How far back of history do you want me to go? They came into power through the Civil War. They basically won over a already damaged KMT, and then they took power in 1949. Is that what you want to ask? NTN says, doesn't have a gay black hero, no diversity. Yeah, so some of the stuff, like they're criticizing Black Myth on is kind of ridiculous. It's like, if you can't have any of the woke stuff in the game, obviously, right? But people are definitely using it as this some sort of a like nationalistic product that they're exporting to the world before we even know if this game is good or not, which I think is pretty ridiculous. Howard says, hi, David, I really appreciate what you do for us all. I am born Taiwanese. I lived in Hong Kong for 3 years. Then immigrated to U.S. when I was 12. I'm a naturalized U.S. citizen, served in U.S. Army. Thanks. Yeah, I'm just doing my part. Oh, that's nice to hear. I'm glad. Yeah, Howard, I'm glad to have helped. GF Skill 2 says, we'll be playing, reviewing Wukong game if it comes out. I'm probably not going to do it. I'm not much into playing video games, so anymore at least. I'm sure the reviews will be able to come out. Like there will be videos like day one reviews and stuff like that, so I think it's fine. Do you think China would rather be under the CCP or the old ways of the emperor? Really curious. A lot of people, so this is a good question. A lot of people have this misconception that China was worse off under the emperor. It wasn't. It was just that towards the end of the dynasty, obviously the last emperor is pretty, doing a bad job. But in reality, like, people really, like the reason why China has 5,000 years and more than half of that is under dynasty and emperor rules is because it was something that really worked for them. Now, if you look at today, if it's a choice between democracy and communism, I'm sure most people in China would choose democracy and reject communism because they've seen the worst of it. But if you had to choose between the emperor rule and communism, I think people would still choose emperor rule. He has proved me wrong. He's engaging with chat a lot more now. Again, I'll remind people you can be critical of a creator to still enjoy their content, be a subscriber. I'm not trolling him. I'm sure, I don't know if you're new to the stream, but usually I have stuff to talk about and I look at chat more towards the end. And I look at chat whenever I can, but I'm also trying to get through a lot of content. And so, again, if you think that's not your style, then it's fine. But yeah, that's how we do it here. Mr. Business says, what's the inflation of the China's currency? You mean adjusted to that of what they're really worth? Like the Chinese currency can be whatever the CCP decides it to be, essentially. Nikhil Vasu says, your video has enlightened me about the country, watched a lot of drama, and was delusional before that. Yeah, well, you're actually pretty unique because I hate, so even as a person who understands Mandarin, I hated watching Chinese drama because I thought the acting and stuff was just so bad. Social Security got hacked? Yeah, I heard about that. All right, so I think we're going to end the stream here. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today. Thanks again for tuning in. Before we go, let me just do a quick reminder of our merchandise. If you haven't checked this out already, we have some amazing merch. I have one that I'm wearing right now. You can see here, I got the CIA paid for this shirt. So this one's going to be a limited edition one. It's only going to be here for about a month or so. So you can head on to davidzhang.net. Link is in the description. I'll put it in the chat as well. If you want to support the channel, you can consider getting some merch. Again, this limited edition CIA paid for this comfort t-shirt. It's 100% cotton. The quality is pretty nice, actually. It's the shirt itself is not made in China. It's made in Honduras. But they do the printing and stuff elsewhere, and it ships globally. So yeah, go on to davidzhang.net and check out the products. All right. Have a great weekend, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.